Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to explain 5 reasons why I've slowed down on buying records in 2023 and if I will continue to do so in 2024. I'm basically going through all of the reasons why I've slowed down on buying records this past year and kind of wondering how I'm going to continue to buy records in 2024. This is my own record journey and I thought it would be fun and interesting to talk about. Before we get started, I wanted to quickly mention that I now have my own Amazon storefront. All of the vinyl related items I talk about on my channel are on there. These are all of my recommendations. You can follow my storefront. I will be updating it constantly. If you're interested in purchasing anything, I do get a small commission if you order through my link because it is an affiliate link. So feel free to check it out, and back to the video. Here in my hands, I have the most recent record that I bought with my own money. At least I'm pretty sure it is. I would say I'm 99% sure it is. So this album is called The Dark by the band Camino. This record came out in August. It's literally been 4 months since I bought a record with my own money for myself. I really love this album. This is on clear vinyl, so I just wanted to show you guys, like, legit, this is the last record I bought. So I was kind of thinking, yeah, I really have slowed down on buying records this year, and I was kind of wondering why that was, and I do have 5 reasons as to why I think I've slowed down. Vinyl is so expensive and the prices of records keep increasing every single year. I think the average price for a new modern record these days is anywhere from like $20 to $50. I'd say the average is around $30 I've seen. And now I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm spending $30 just on one record when years ago I could have gotten more for that money. I'm basically only buying new records, new releases, pre-orders, like from new albums that are out in 2023. I know that's obviously going to be more expensive than used records or records from albums that were released years ago. I know new stuff is obviously more expensive, and that's just personally what I'm into and what I buy. In 2020 and 2021, I definitely went so crazy buying a ton of records, but I knew going forward in 2023 I wanted to slow down a bit and really focus on what I'm buying and just budget my money better. I basically limited myself to 1 or 2 records a month. I actually did really well sticking to that. I'm very proud of myself. I did not go overboard, so I was pretty much only buying pre-orders for new records, and I stuck to that 1 or 2 records a month. But like I said, some months I did not even buy records, but budgeting my money like that really helped me to not go broke and not overspend on new records. I really want to only buy records that I'm passionate about and that I will listen to. This year I have spent the least amount of money on vinyl I ever have in the 3 or 4 years I've been collecting. For me, I think that's a good thing, spending less money on vinyl, especially now that I'm 4 years into my collection. I am really happy that I spent less money on vinyl this year because I'm saving money, obviously, not overspending on vinyl like I've done in previous years. It is a really fun hobby, but it can be a little bit addicting, and I think I maybe was addicted in the beginning, but now that I've kind of slowed down a bit and my collection has grown a lot, I was able to slow down and really pick out quality records that I really want to buy and that I know I will love, so therefore I saved money. And with that being said, I definitely did have a lot less unboxing videos this year, but specifically with records that I paid for myself. Like I said, I did have a lot of unboxings from my PO box, which is different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking just about records that I bought myself. If I did the math correctly, in 2022, last year, I had 8 unboxing videos where I unboxed records that I bought with my own money. And this year in 2023, I only made 4 videos like that. That is so crazy. I know I had a lot less unboxing videos this year, but I didn't know it was half of that. I have been really busy lately with multiple different things, but recently I haven't been playing my records that much. Over the summer I played my records all the time because I had lots of free time, but now in these past couple of months I really haven't had time to play my records as much as I wanted to. Me personally, I feel like if I spend hundreds of dollars on my records and my turntable, then I want to enjoy them. I invested a lot of time and money in this hobby, so I want to get my use out of it, you know? So after the summer ended and my schedule started getting a lot busier, I just didn't have as much time as I did to listen to my records. And so that's why I did slow down on buying records, because I knew I didn't have time to listen to them. So I decided to wait to buy records until I knew I had the time to open and play them, because I don't really want to buy a record and have it sit in a box or have it sit unopened for weeks or even months not enjoying it. I wanted to wait until I had the time to open it and unbox it and make a video about it maybe, so that's another reason why I've slowed down on buying records this year. Now this one is a really big one for me. It might be different for you guys, but for me, I've kind of become a minimalist when it comes to like interior design and when it comes to records. I really love the look of less is more. I don't really want to have too many records. I don't really want to be not like a hoarder, but I don't want to be a collector that has like so many records. I just have a hard time keeping up with it. So that's why I like having a small collection where it's not too hard for me to keep up with them and clean them and play them. I just personally don't like the look of big shelves full of records. It looks really great in some people's houses and in pictures I've seen, but me personally, I don't really like that look for my space, for my room. I just don't have enough space in my room for a ton of records. So when I started my collection back in 2020, I only bought one record shelf so that I can kind of keep myself in check so that I wouldn't go overboard. I told myself I have this one shelf to put all of my records in. I'm not going to get any more shelves. I could only buy as many records that would fit in the shelf. I thought that would be easy, but it honestly has been really hard, especially now in 2023, where I'm kind of at that place where I'm overflowing and my shelf is almost full. I actually almost bought a second record shelf, but I decided not to get that because I would rather have more open walking space in my room. I just didn't know where I would put another shelf in my room. At the beginning of this year, I only had space for about 10 records, which is why I've had to purge my collection multiple times this year. And personally, I am okay with that. I know some record collectors don't like the idea of purging or would just get another shelf, which is fine. But for me personally, I didn't want to do that, so I decided to purge instead. And I have no regrets about anything that I have sold or traded or donated, because there are some records I bought in 2020 that I kind of regretted buying. And so now I've had to purge them because I just don't have the use for it anymore. I don't have the space for it. But yeah, I honestly don't have any regrets about having one shelf. And I know I'm gonna have to purge often as the years go on because my shelf is still pretty full, and I'm personally okay with that. If it's been 3 years and I've only played a record maybe a handful of times, then I know it's okay to purge it, because then it can make space for a new record that I really want and enjoy. In the comments, let me know if you guys would rather purge your collection or just get another shelf. So I've been able to maintain my space this year pretty well with the one shelf. So I wouldn't really say that my taste has changed too much throughout the 3 or 4 years I've been collecting, but now that I've been collecting for a couple of years now, there aren't really any records left on my want list. So throughout the years, I have bought everything from the past that I have wanted to get, albums that were released before 2023. My wish list used to be really big and long, but now there's only a couple of records on there. Everything realistic on the list I have. Of course, you've got some, dream records and grails on your list or on my list, but everything reasonable that I had on my list I have bought in previous years. So again, this year my wish list just is really small. Most of them are like super expensive grails that I'll probably never ever buy. And because of my music taste, I would say I have a very modern taste in music. I'm only buying new mainstream records, basically the stuff that's on the radio, like new album releases from 2023. So I bought all of the new albums that my favorite bands and artists released this year, and that was pretty much it. I was buying like only pre-orders for a really long time. Not all of my favorite bands and artists released albums this year, and the ones that did, there were maybe only like 5 of them that I can remember, so that's only like, what, 5 more records in my collection this year that were new album releases. Personally, I don't really buy a ton of older records. I do buy some used records, but again, as of right now, I'm pretty much only buying the new stuff, the mainstream stuff. So I think I'm at a place where I'm kind of stopping. Other people are constantly shopping for records and looking and hunting for records, and that's fine. I actually really do love record hunting and record shopping. When I'm there shopping, I just never really find anything I need or that I want in the moment. I wasn't always like this. Like if you go back to my 2020 and 2021 videos, I was constantly buying records. I was doing a lot more record shopping. It was really fun, but I don't really do that a lot anymore. Also back in 2020 and 2021, that's when I first started my collection. So I was buying a ton of records to kind of fill up my space and get as many records as I could as fast as I could so that I could say I have a collection now, like just build up my collection. That made a really great foundation for myself. But now, like 4 years later, I have everything I want and I'm only buying like the new album releases. I should make a list and see like what records I bought this year. For example, Drive by Tiesto, the 2 Skrillex albums that came out this year, The Dark by the band Camino, which I mentioned earlier. Those are a few examples of the new releases from this year that I bought. I'm really trying to have quality records over the quantity of records, and I've kind of always been that way since I've started collecting. That's why I only bought myself one shelf to use. I've never really been a completist, and I don't really buy duplicate records either, like with different colored variants and things like that. I pretty much only buy one copy of every album, and I only buy records that I will listen to, so I definitely want a more quality, narrowed down collection than a bunch of random records that I don't really like or that I don't listen to. Like if a record comes out with like 5 different variants, I will just get my favorite variant. And now I only buy albums where I love the majority of the album. If I don't like 75% of the songs, I'm not going to get the album on vinyl because what's the point? You can skip songs on vinyl, but it's really inconvenient and I think it defeats the purpose of listening to vinyl. So I'm trying to really only buy albums that I love every single song so I can play the album all the way through and just enjoy the whole experience. Like for example, I did not buy Post Malone's recent album on vinyl. The album is called Austin and I just didn't enjoy the album as much as his other albums. It's probably my least favorite Post Malone album, and I did want to buy the record to support Post Malone and I like the colored pressings and everything, but for $50 it's not worth it to me, and I really only love a handful of songs, so I just didn't see the point in me getting it. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, I did do 2 or 3 small purges in my collection throughout this last year. Records where I didn't really like all of the songs or I just haven't listened to them in a really long time and I've kind of gotten over the phase of it. So those ones are now purged out, those are gone. So I kept my absolute favorite albums, records that I know I will listen to multiple times, records that I enjoy, that I'm really passionate about. That's why I really like purging, just to comb through my collection every now and then and make sure that it's really all quality records. So with all of that said, will I continue to buy records in 2024? Yes, absolutely. I think that goes without saying. But I think what's going to be different next year is how many records I buy and kind of my process. I think it will be very similar to this year. So for all of the same reasons I mentioned, I'm probably not going to buy a ton of records next year. Again, I don't know for sure. We'll see what happens next year. But as of right now, I think I'm only going to buy just a few records on my wish list that are left and just whatever new albums that come out in 2024 by the bands and artists that I follow. I'm really excited for the future for next year. I'm excited to keep making record related videos and continuing to share my record journey on YouTube, and I've got some really great ideas for next year, so I'm really excited for that. Stay tuned. So if you're new to my channel and you liked this video, then please consider subscribing. I really want to know your opinions on everything I mentioned in this video, every single topic. I want to know if you guys agree or disagree with me. How many records did you guys buy this year compared to previous years? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!